Mr. Austin was a 30-year-old Nigerian man who was living in the outskirts of Lagos. He had his office in the island, that is in Lagos Island. This was a very long way from where he's living in Ogba area of the mainland. For him to get to the office, he had to board about 3 different buses. And the cost of transportation alone was becoming too much. It was eating deep into his resources. He had to do this daily. That is commuting from Ogba, where he lives, to Lagos Island, where he has his office, and back again. He spends so much. Each bus that he took means additional cost. And for somebody who is struggling to build a business from the scratch, that was a lot of money. So he began to think of what he could do to reduce the cost of transportation. He had to do something quickly too. One of the actions he took to cut down on the expenses was to reduce the number of times he goes home. That is to say that he spends a few days of the week in the office. He spends about 3 or 4 days sleeping in the office and spends the rest at home. That is saying that from Monday to Friday, he spends sleeping in the office. Then Saturday and Sunday, he sleeps at home, even though he doesn't come to work on Sunday anyway. He had seen others do this before, so it was nothing new to him. In fact, his friend Tunde had done it severally before. But he's now beginning to understand why Tunde was doing it. When Tunde was doing it before, he does not really understand what Tunde was doing. But now he has come to see the importance of what that guy was doing. So with that arrangement, he was able to reduce transportation costs. What he was able to save eventually was put into boosting the business money. Was added to the capital he was using for the business. He was a very prudent guy, always looking for ways of minimizing costs. And he ensured that whatever he saved was invested back into the business. It was not just for consumption, but for investment into the business. He told his listeners that the amount he saved from sleeping in the office was enough for him to pay for the office rent for another 6 months. You can imagine what he benefited. So instead of dipping his hands into or further into the business money to pay house rent, he took some of those monies he was saving to pay it, and that was good judgment. This one is just one amongst the many measures he put in place while trying to get the company on its feet. He was such a prudent manager, and his prudence eventually paid off. As we go down, we'll see how his prudence was able to help him raise this company from nothing to something. Mr. Austin had grown this business a great deal. He started from a 1-room small office with only one standing fan and went into a whole flat in one of the highbrow areas of Lagos metropolis. The business now occupies a whole floor in a multi-story building in the choice area of Lagos. You can see how he has grown this business from nowhere to somewhere and still going. But Mr. Austin does not want to stop. He does not want to stop here. He was a very ambitious man. There is nothing wrong in one being ambitious. There is nothing wrong with it at all. You just have to know what you are doing and be ready to work very hard and persevere. And if hard work and perseverance is the only quality needed for further expansion, then give it to Mr. Austin. He's ready to do it. He's ready to persevere. In fact, he has started by sleeping in the office. I mean, for him, it's no big deal. He has those qualities in abundant supply, if that is what it needs to get a company going. And he was ready to sacrifice. He was ready to make the necessary sacrifice to get this company up and running. But in the kind of business that he's involved in, there are two ways to grow. It is either one, you use your own facilities to operate. If you are using your own facilities, growth will be very, very slow and tedious. So a lot of people don't like using their own facilities because it will not allow you to move as fast as you would have wanted to. But the major advantage of using your own facility is that it is your own. You are the owner. Nobody owns it with you. Nobody is struggling for it with you. You can do whatever you like with it and move at your own pace. Nobody is going to ask you. But how many people are willing to wait for that long is another case entirely. Then number two, you could use a borrowed facility to still run the business. That one too is possible. In that case, one has to use facilities which are provided by a third party. But in this case, where you have to borrow facility, growth is very fast. You can grow at a very fast pace. The only unfortunate thing is that you don't own the facilities. And one problem with this situation is that the owner of the facilities can come at any time, even without notice, and collect this from you once you begin to act outside the agreement that you entered with them, because you would have entered an agreement with them before they allow you to use the facility, to begin to use the facility. So where you begin to act irresponsibly, they will just collect their thing from you without raising an eyebrow, because it's the agreement you have signed. It's part of the agreement you have signed that, look, if I begin to go out of line with this agreement, come and collect your things. That is just the problem with that one. Mr. Austin was somebody who was sure of his ability to work hard and stay in line with the understanding he reached with the facility owners. So he did not for once think that anything will go wrong, because he was sure of himself. He knew it's something he can, take responsibility for. He knew it's something he can do. He has read the agreement over and over again before signing, and he believed that there were things he could do. He told himself that it was something he could do, considering his pedigree. So he is somebody who is very serious with his job. He's somebody who knows what he's doing. He's somebody who can persevere. So, there is no reason why he could not do it. So he went for it straight away. He certainly did not make any mistake, or so he thought, because he knew himself. He knew it's something he could do. Unfortunately, events of later years were to prove him wrong, because things began to happen, and at times things happen, you don't know how they happen, you don't know why they're happening. Like the wise people, or like some wise people used to say, the day of reckoning always comes. It really came. And when it came, Mr. Austin was very, very surprised. He could not believe that any such thing could happen to him. but it really happened. The moment he signed the agreement, the facility managers quickly released their support to him. Having been so supported, he decided to move into another bigger office in another choice area of town. To complete the circle, he hired additional experienced hands to complement what he had on ground. Later events were to show if this was a wise decision at all. Because when he was to hire them, he thought they were the best. But along the line, one or two things happened. And one cannot, or one does not really know whether they were wise decisions. But we are to see as time goes on. Whatever the case, the business boomed and Austin was happy with what was happening. The cash flow was good, showing a lot of inflows into the company's account. So there was no basis for anybody to doubt what was happening. Mr. Austin was, doubting anything that was happening because the money was flowing in. And he felt, there was nothing wrong. Like any other person would feel, everyone was happy. Austin appears to have achieved his dream because he had this dream to make that company very, very big. And really, the company has become big because of the facilities they offered him. And Austin himself, as an individual, was very, very hardworking. He was not a bad person at all. He was not bad. He was not fraudulent. And he believes in the hard work of his own hands. But the same could not be said of his staff. Some of these people you just bring into your organization, in spite of all the due diligence you may have done, you cannot really say everything about them. In situations like this, you need a lot of control to ensure that your staff have the same dream which you have. But at times these things don't just work that way. You may just get somebody who will present himself to you as somebody, but at the end of the day you discover that he's something else. They may not be fraudulent. That is the persons you employed. They may just not be fraudulent, but they may just not be doing things properly as well. Even though somebody is not fraudulent, he could be doing the wrong thing, thinking that he's doing the right thing, and you have thought they were experienced that they will not do something outside the norms. And you may have lost, you may have put down your guards expecting that they are competent. But they may not be sound enough to keep in line with the requirements of the facility managers, even though they are not fraudulent. They may not have this skill. They may not have the required skill which the facility managers want, and which Austin too may have. So it was a big problem. It's like the company was becoming too expansive for Austin alone to control. But later events were to show whether it was too much or whatever for Austin to handle. Austin decided to pump some money into the wife's business, which was almost dying, as a result of his intention to, first of all, bring up his own business. Having brought up his own business and he felt the business was standing, he decided to pump some money into the wife's own business too, and her business began to boom as well. She was operating a small shop in a market at that point when Mr. Austin was building this one. And the market was very close to their home, so that she could easily go from the market to their house and take care of, those things housewives normally do. So she was combining the role of a housewife and that of a businesswoman, which was normal. But right now, the business has expanded. A larger shop had been hired. It's now a place where other traders go to buy on wholesale. They go there, they buy on wholesale basis because she brings those materials in large numbers. So the best way to dispose them was through wholesales, even though she does some elements of, some elements of retail. His two children too were in some of the best private schools around town, and life was good. Austin believed that he had worked hard to get this far, and his family were there for him. So now that he's making some money, he has to take care of them. There was absolutely nothing wrong with that. He must be made to feel the impact of his success. And I agree with him. If you have made so much money and you can see it flowing in, even though issues cropped up eventually, then nothing stops you from taking responsibility. Taking care of those who were there for you. Like his family, his wife and children were there for him when things were very hard. And now that things are beginning to ease off, then he has a duty to kind of reward them. And that was what he did. So one day, a group of people came to Mr. Austin's office. There were about 6 of them. While 4 of them were hanging around the office, 2 others walked to Mr. Austin's office. It eventually happened that they were inspectors from the office of the facility managers. From time to time, the facilities managers were expected to send inspectors to go and check and see if the facility user was really using it in the appropriate manner. And that was what they have come to do now. They usually come at any time. They don't have specific time. They come at the time of their choice. So they really want to catch you doing the act. They don't want to give you advance notice so that you don't go and hide 1 or 2 things or start amending your books before they come. They want to catch you doing what you are doing at that particular time. And that will form the basis of the report they will take to their head office. They will just come as a form of surprise. The surprise element was part of the whole thing. If they don't come at a surprising time, you will discover that people will just hide 1 or 2 things. And what is the point of such an audit if people are giving advance notice? It doesn't make sense. So these inspectors quietly did their auditing and left. But before they left, they pointed out a number of issues that were not in line with the agreement. The company was expected to work on those contraventions and put them right before their next call, because they are supposed to come again later, very soon, whatever time they like. They will come back. But when they have finished doing the one they are doing now, they will tell you all the infractions, all the contraventions which they were able to spot, and let you know that, look, these things are not what they should be. These things are not in line with our agreement with you. They will let you know all those things, and then they will leave and give their report to their head office eventually. That was exactly what happened here. They did their audit, they wrote their report and sent to their head office. When they were gone, Mr. Austin called his team together and they began to work on the infractions which the auditors pointed out. He doesn't want to wait till they come back again to meet the same thing. So he just brought together his people and they began to work on it. They were working on it when a letter came from the facility managers to Austin. He was surprised to see the letter. They gave it to him and he looked at it. It was from the facility manager. So what could they be writing about again? He was surprised. So when he opened it, he discovered that the facility managers have terminated the contract he was having with them. Mr. Austin was shocked. He least expected it. The letter did not contain anything to show what the infractions were. Like they will tell you always, they are not supposed to tell you what the wrongs you have done, but they will just, terminate anytime they want to terminate. It's part of the contract. It's part of the agreement which you sign. So having terminated the contract, Mr. Austin was given 2 alternatives. Alternative number 1 is to stop using the facility completely and go away. in which case you would have lost all the monies due to you to date. This is a company this is a facility you have been using for a very long time, and from nowhere they say they are now telling you to stop, to just go. Who would who will just walk away like that? It doesn't work like that, really. But that was what they said, and that was what we have in the agreement. Then, secondly, you can start afresh as a new person. You have to start once more as a completely new entity. So, those are the two alternatives you have: just walk away and go, or start as a completely new entity. You can imagine somebody who's been building using a facility for the past 5 years, and you are telling him right now to just walk away and go. It doesn't work that way. Mr. Austin was disturbed and felt very bad about the whole thing. He doesn't know what to do, you know. It was at this point that Mr. Austin began to put this proverb into perspective. The proverb says that the borrowed coat looks fine. Oh, if you borrow a coat, it looks fine, but the owner can come for it at any time. So he began to think many things, you know. So what is he going to do? He doesn't know what to do. So have you been in a position like this before? If you have, what did you do? Can you please let us know? Mr. Austin is really worried. He cannot leave his business and just walk away like that. And to tell him to start from the scratch again is another big issue. So let us know what you think. What do you have to advise him? Let's have your advice on the comment section of this video. If you like the story, please, if you've listened to the story, please like it, share it, make your comment, and please subscribe. When you do all these things, it helps us to improve on our service delivery to you. Thank you very much for listening. Bye.